February 1938, Berlin. Bolstered by his earlier foreign policy successes and impressed with his ever-increasing military power, Adolf Hitler is now setting his sights on expanding his Reich. Hitler's Germany, Hitler has decided, should include all the German-speaking people in Europe. Austria is the first country he covets for his greater German Reich. Hitler is thinking, however, beyond the common ancestry and culture. Austria's abundant iron and timber reserves are vital to the continued growth of the Nazis' military machine. Strategically, Austria will give Hitler a land bridge connecting him and his ally to the south, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, who has finally dropped his objections to Germany's annexation of Austria. In his efforts to get the Austrians to submit, Hitler uses many of the same tactics he used in his own rise to power. He arms pro-Nazi factions within Austria, promoting civil unrest and political discord. Hitler then puts intense pressure on the Austrian Chancellor Schuschnigg to allow the Germans to roll into his country unopposed. With German troops massed on the border, Schuschnigg resigns, and on 11 March, Nazi Minister of the Interior Arthur Seyss-Inquart takes over as Chancellor. His first act is to invite the German army into Austria. By noon of the 12th, Nazi stormtroopers are marching through the streets of Vienna. The Germans are greeted with great enthusiasm by the Austrian people, who have come to think of themselves as Germans. The streets are lined with cheering crowds. Nazi banners and Heil Hitlers fill the air. The Austrian excitement is soon tempered by the brutal reality of life under the Nazi regime. Just as they have been in Germany, Austria's Jews, communists, and other so-called undesirables become easy targets for Hitler's minions. They disappear in large numbers to concentration camps in Germany. Once again, as in his remilitarization of the Rhineland, Hitler's gamble pays off. The British and French protest the annexation, but take no further action against him. Hitler offers repeated, vehement assurances that his territorial ambitions have been fulfilled and that the sacrifice of Austria will guarantee peace for Europe. Even as he does this, however, he is focusing his attention on Czechoslovakia and the Sudetenland. The Sudetenland, on Czechoslovakia's western border with Germany, is mainly populated by Germans. Here, the Czechs have constructed an extremely well-fortified defensive line that Hitler has no wish to confront. So, once again, he uses racial rhetoric and bullying tactics to achieve his goal. In mid-September, Hitler informs British Prime Minister Chamberlain he intends to secure self-determination for the Sudeten Germans and stop what he says is Czech mistreatment of the German minority. Chamberlain, whose only priority appears to be avoiding war, convinces French Premier Édouard Daladier to go along with Hitler's plan to annex the Sudetenland. With pressure mounting from all sides to give in to the Germans, the Prague government agrees to Hitler's demands. Chamberlain informs the Führer of this. Hitler, in return, ups the ante. He now insists that some 8 million Czechs relocate for the convenience of 250,000 Sudeten Germans. He also insists that they leave behind all their military and agricultural goods. Chamberlain is irate and refuses the demands. It seems that war is now inevitable. The Czechs begin to mobilize, and the British fleet goes to a wartime standing. On 19 March, Chamberlain and Daladier fly to Munich to meet with Hitler and Mussolini to try to reach a last-minute agreement and avert a war. Without a representative of the Czech government present, Chamberlain and Dateline once again give in to Hitler, believing anything is better than war. Chamberlain returns to jubilant crowds in England, declaring that the Munich Agreement means peace for our time.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. And here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine. We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
While the majority of the English are thrilled that war has been avoided, there are those who warn that appeasing Hitler is an unwise and dangerous practice. Chief among them are First Lord of the Admiralty Winston Churchill and former Foreign Secretary Anthony Eden. Stopping him now, they argue, will be far less costly than waiting until his military might is ground, and that giving in will only prove to Hitler that the West lacks the will to confront him.